Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
With the whole shot. Burrows gets wadded up right there. We got a nasty one. 3 laps here. We're underway here at Horsepower Farm.
And good evening, race fans. We're coming at you live a little bit earlier tonight, 15 minutes early. Going to do a little pre-race show, talk to a few drivers tonight. But first, before we get into anything, let's do a little introduction. Tonight, we are here for the All-Star Racing Series. It is the premier setup. Let me make sure I get the name right really quick. The premier setup shop Super Truck Series, brought to you by All-Star Racing League. So thank them for allowing us to come on board and call tonight's event. Myrtle Beach Craftsman Truck Series. It's going to be a doozy, folks. This track, it looks to be very, very, very tough to manage. The trucks look wicked loose. They're all on edge. They're fighting it. But I think overall, it's going to be a good night for us. It's going to be a tough night for our drivers. I know that for certain. Let's see if we can get our timer started here so you can see whenever we're going over into green flag conditions. Well, it's really going to be qualifying at that point, but nonetheless. So before we talk to any drivers, we are going to talk to a few. I want to pull up the top 10 points of the season so far, because we are joining this into the season a little bit. You can see it's cut off a little bit, but Daniel Sweat, man, front and center here, got him a race win. Justin Coleman right there behind him, 1 point out, actually. He's currently sitting second with Brian Voss sitting third. Christopher Smith fourth. Christopher Smith, he is really, really fast on these short tracks. We see him racing on Monday and Tuesday nights on TrueSimProductions. He's going to be a heavy hitter here tonight. And then I see Brandon Elvis also tied for P4. He loves this track. This is a home track for him. He's a series admin. He's one that invited us to come on board and call tonight's action. Little last minute, so I don't have everything set up, but we are here. We're going to bring it to him. And he's a driver I look to most definitely be in contention at the end of this thing. Robert Hattenbach, Anthony Rennick, both familiar faces that we see here on TrueSimProductions. Todd Lettenfier as well. Then you got Logan Mayer and Ronald Judd rounding out the top 10 of the point standing so far into the season. And now let's see if we can pull up our keys to victory, we're going to call it here tonight. It's Myrtle Beach. It's a little bull ring, not a whole lot of room, not a whole lot of elbow room for certain. So that means only one thing, track position. It is king. If you can get out front or be up near the front, say in the top 2, 3, 4 positions, then you need to try to hang on to that as long as you can. So you're going to see restarts out here tonight where these guys are fighting each other just lap after lap because they do not want to lose track position. But then that goes right to number 2, keeping the front end of the truck clean. These trucks are very, very, very easy to go down on power, meaning get engine damage. And although it don't seem like it would matter too much on a track like this, you start losing too much power, and before you know it, you can get off the corner. So keeping the nose clean, pretty much keep the entire truck clean. If you can have your truck clean after 125 laps, you'll be doing good here tonight at Myrtle Beach. And then point number 3, it goes back to almost track position, and that being, this is a one groove track. Now you will see the outside lane. It can work here, but you're not going to see the outside lane ever look dominant out here. It's going to basically be utilized, the outside lane, off restarts. You'll see occasionally people try to use it to try to pass, but for the most part, this is a one groove racetrack. And then number 4, let's see if we can go to somebody that's actually out on track right now. Brandon Elvis, actually 54, rolling out right now. Number 4 is basically saving your tires. And what that means is, I want to just see if we can stay on board here with Brandon Elvis, just to show y'all kind of what the track is like. It's very, very loose out here, it looks like. I'm seeing a lot of guys really having to drive the truck tonight. And with that, you're really using up a lot of tires, so you got to be careful. Look right here, Brandon Elvis going around. So these trucks, they are on edge. These drivers are going to have to work for 125 laps. And we're talking door-to-door working, too. This ain't no walk in the park tonight. This is going to be elbows out racing, so protect your tires. Let's see if we can pull up our graphic one more time. A fuel run here tonight. 60 to 65 laps. That's a little bit on the conservative side. I think I've heard you can go about 70 laps. So if they can go about 60 laps out here tonight, then you know for certain that this could become a fuel mileage race. If you only get one caution or what, you may see some drivers trying to save fuel, conserve a little bit of fuel. Because if you can only get 60 laps, you got 2 stops to make. With that second stop only being for 5 laps. And of course, the race length, 125 laps. But I've jabbered enough about the race. Let's see if we can bring the man front and center, who we actually are riding with right now, Mr. Brandon Elvis. As I'm going to pull him down here with us really quick. We'll have a quick little word with him. Mr. Brandon Elvis, you're live in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, Brandon, for one, sorry, I don't know a whole lot about the series, right? I'm coming in kind of blind tonight, but I can tell one thing. This truck is wicked loose. Talk to me about the truck, how it feels, and your outlook for tonight, brother.
Yeah, man, these trucks, we got Premier building us setups here, and these things are a handful. They're not made to be on these short tracks, really. But they're big, heavy trucks, too much power, really too much brakes, too. You really got to manhandle them. You got to tell yourself to slow down a lot and wrap the bottom. And it's just battle of attrition, really.
Well, I mean, I see just how much y'all are having to will it. I know you're going to be tired at the end of tonight's event. You're coming into tonight. Let me pull my points up really quick one more time. You're coming into tonight. You're tied for 4th with Christopher Smith. Still looking for that first win of the season. Myrtle Beach is your home track. This is your track, right? You're bad fast here. You and Justin Coleman both. What's the game plan tonight?
Man, I usually can lay down a good lap, but I can never get things to go my way. Every time I race here, I get caught up in something. But it's going to be tough. Brian Voss, who's racing with us tonight, has probably more laps around this racetrack in real life than anybody, period.
Wow.
He used to be... He raced at Myrtle Beach for a long time, and he used to be the driver instructor that did the Richard Petty driving experience at Myrtle Beach.
Oh wow!
So,
wow.
That's awesome. He's got more laps than anybody, so he's going to be a tough one. Justin's going to be tough. Sweat's going to be tough. Chris is going to be tough. He always says he's not going to be any good, but then goes and lays the fastest lap down.
Right. Makes no sense, huh? Well, Elvis, we'll let you get back down and preparing for tonight's event. Just want to pull you up really quick. So on our ticker tonight, it's going to say Crooked Line on it, but that's because I can't get it to change. I've tried sitting here. So hopefully I get it switched over to All-Star Racing, but if not, I apologize for that. But
hey, it's all good, brother. I appreciate you doing this for us.
Absolutely, buddy, and good luck to you tonight. Maybe we'll be talking to the 54 at the end of this thing.
Yes, sir.
That was Mr. Brandon Elvis, one of the lead men behind All-Star Racing League here, the premier setup, shop, Super Truck Series. Man, I gotta remember how to say that. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that so much. Folks, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, of course, too. As we got 8 minutes or so before we hit to that grid, let's see if we can dial up another driver here. As never mind. We're going to talk to Justin Coleman, who is, I know, going to be stout here tonight, but he said he actually is not going to be around till right at qual. So see if we can dial up who is sitting currently P1 in the speed chart right now. The 21 car, that's going to be hard for me to remember. I'm used to seeing him as 80, but the 21 car here tonight, Christopher Smith. You got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So, Chris, it looks like you and Brian are currently on mine. They don't tell me the third decimal, but y'all are currently tied with a 19.15. Talk to me about Myrtle Beach. Are you a fan, or are you not a fan?
It just depends, honestly. These trucks are really, really loose. So just try to keep the back end of it set on the ground and try not to get the rear tires too hot. And it's going to be a rough one, but it's going to be fun.
So I'm actually got your truck pulled up. You are showed as the 80 on the side of your truck, so that will help me some. It's 21 on the tickets for whatever reason, but you are 80.
Yeah, the late model stocks and All-Star League is 80, I believe. I can't remember. It's either 21 or 80.
Right. Well, the truck looks sweet. I know that's a Coleman design special right there. Chris, you come into tonight. You are currently sitting. Oh yeah, you're 4th. I actually talked to the man you're tied with, Brandon Elvis. You're currently 4th in the standings. Both of y'all are tied at 65 points apiece. What's the game plan going into a track like Myrtle Beach tonight, where it is so hot or not really hot, but just slick?
Try to stay out of trouble, keep the nose clean, be there at the end, really.
Right. I mean, it sounds simple, right, saying it like that, but man, oh man, it's tough to do. Well, Chris, good luck to you, buddy. And like I told Elvis, maybe we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, boss. Get him back up to Bad Company Racing, and then we're going to be almost time to start ready, rocking and rolling here, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in. Once again, hit the thumbs up button if you have not already. Got a little reminder right here. Did you like the video? And then one thing I got to really push, I got to push it really, really hard. Hey, we'll see if we can get this moved over. Get everything situated really quick before I start talking about it. Is this right here. Subscribe so you'll never miss a lap of the action when we bring it to you live. Almost 6 nights out of the week right now. We're live and in Living Keller here. So, and caveat that is we're on the road to 500 subscribers. We hit 500. We have done all the other qualifications, we'll call it, to be a YouTube content creator partner. So if you could help us along in that journey, we would greatly appreciate it. It's free to you, but it means the world to us. As There's about 2.5 minutes left before we head on over into qualifying. So we're going to close up the pre-race portion of this show. We're going to throw it over to Savage Edge, and then we'll be back momentarily. You won't miss a second of the action when they go into qual. We'll be back.
Shut up and sit down.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you.
Alrighty, folks, we are back as these drivers are getting ready to head off into qualifying here now. See what driver elects to go out on track first here. Got about 13 drivers in the field this week, so not a huge field, but it's still a good field size here to put on a good race here at a very, very, very tight track. That's going to be the theme all night, as we have the 12 of Samuel Lawson heading out, but I think Todd Lanfear is a little bit ahead of him, so let's see if we can ride with Todd here. So I'm actually going to give you an onboard shot. See Todd not really want to add a whole lot of movement to the wheel. This truck is loose, folks, and listen, barely even able to start picking up the throttle. As I'm laying out, I'm letting you really hear how he's working that truck here. Just not able ever really to get full throttle there, and saying just how tough of a track this place really is. As Brandon Fillmore just went to P2 on the board with his second lap. As Rob Hattenbach is coming for his lap number 1 here. Oh, he's going to spin it across the line and make contact to the inside wall. Tough break. Let's see if we can see what old Christopher Smith in the number 80 truck does here. A beautiful Toyota Tundra here. Right out of turn number 4 for his first lap here. As Brandon Elvis just knocked off Todd Lanfear for the provisional pole. As Sight Christopher Smith just knocked off Elvis for provisional pole. See what Elvis can do. as he's coming to the line. Then we'll switch back over to Christopher as Elvis's second lap around was a little bit slower than his first lap. Christopher Smith, see if he can get a little quicker. He does. He gets almost half a tenth quicker. As the 21, Anthony Rennick, this is on his out lap. He has, or no, excuse me, this is his first lap. So that first lap is basically going to be null and void, no good. Going to have to see what the 21 truck can do for lap number 2 here. That's a really good looking truck too, by the way. That orange just pops on that truck. As looks to be getting down to the bottom pretty good here. Wrapping the bottom, basically painting the line there as Rennick, he got a little sideways there coming to the line. Anthony Rennick goes to 3rd on the board, so impressive showing for him. And oh no, Justin Coleman looped her around. That was on his second lap, so the first lap is his one and only one he's going to get. Sitting P8, as it looks like everybody is basically taking their qualifying efforts. See if we can talk to somebody who I know loves these short tracks. He loves the NASCAR style racing on here too. Mr. Kyle Wellman, you're in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So, Kyle, I'm watching in qualifying here. A lot of people are looping it. It's either usually on their second lap. They're going around. I noticed you're P10 on the board. Did you just take it really easy in qual?
No, I messed up. In practice, I was racing barefoot and my feet were sticking to the pedals. I didn't like it. Threw on some socks and now they're too slippery. So I didn't feel anything in the pedals on my qualifying lap. So I couldn't tell when to give it gas, when to let off, nothing.
That is the most my dog ate my homework type of excuse I've ever heard in my life. I'm almost speechless. So what's the verdict here? Are we going sockless? Or are we going with socks? What are we doing?
I think I might do a hybrid. I might go no sock on the throttle pedal and sock on the brake pedal.
If you could take a picture for us, just so we can have it for.
Oh, you don't want that.
You're right. Yeah, we don't want to see your feet. Well, Kyle,
no.
I had the honor of listening to you and Lawson talk a little bit during practice, and like I said earlier on broadcast, the theme tonight is little track and loose track. What's your game plan as you and Lawson actually starting right there at the tail end of the field? What's the plan for tonight?
Like me and Sam were saying after you left, there's a reason that they turned this place into a dirt track, if you know what I mean. Right. That's exactly what it feels like right now. It's just slippery. So our plan is just to go easy on it and wait for the chaos to settle down and see what the tires do from there.
Right on. Well, good luck to you, buddy, as we're going to get this grid rocking and rolling.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for being up in the booth tonight.
Yes, sir. All right, we get him back up there, and it is now time to get that starting grid rocking and rolling. As you see it right there, Christopher Smith, he's number 80. Don't worry about what iRacing says. He is the number 80 truck, and he's going to be leading them to the green flag in that Toyota Tundra. And then Brian Voss, the guy that Mr. Brandon Elvis told us has by far probably the most laps around this track in general versus anybody, not just this group, but anybody, as he was a driving instructor for the Richard Petty racing experience. Excuse me. Anthony Rennick, we watched it go down. He's going to be starting P3. Daniel Sweat's in 4th with Brandon Elvis, hometown boy, number 54, rolling off in 5th. Lance Fear in the 26 is going to be starting 6th with Brandon Fillmore in the 5, starting 7th. And Justin Coleman, we saw him go around the 114 on his second lap. Sadly, that put him starting P8. Samuel Lawson's 9th. Wildman Kyle Wellman starting 10th. Rob Hottenbach is in 11th, and Ronald Judd is playing shotgun to the field on the 6th row. And it is now almost go time, boys and girls. I'm excited because this league is an unknown to me. I don't know all these guys. Now, I do know a lot of these guys that are racing here, but I've never seen them racing trucks. And I promise you, that's a big difference versus racing in super late model stock. So it's going to be interesting to see here. I do wish our camera angles were a little bit better, but we will have to sadly work with what we got here. That's a beautiful front row consisting of Chris and Brian. Shout out to Anthony Rennick too. He's in need of a strong finish here. Because every league I've seen him run in, he's ran good in it. Just cannot miss the bad luck. Him and Todd Lamphere in the 26 car right here. So those are my drivers I'm going to keep an eye on here tonight because they need to shake off the bad luck monkey. Get it going. And I look for them to do it here tonight. Myrtle Beach, 125 laps. Shout out Premier Setup Shop for providing the setups here. Is whoa, a little bit of a bad start for 80, who is our control car in that aspect, but did have to wait for the green flag. As everything looks to be even killed here for the start of tonight's event. As you saw, Anthony Rennick, though, he was able to pounce on the fact that Brian was stuck on the outside. And now Brandon Elvis is going to try to do the same in a 54 machine, driving underneath the 55 of Brian. Oh, you got one almost going around. That was the 5 truck of Fieldmore. Heads up driving by all the trucks around him there. As they allowed him the room and the space needed to get that truck settled down. And look at Rennick. He is pacing our leader right now, Christopher Smith. You normally in these type of NASCAR style races, you normally have time to settle in, but a track like this that's only 125 laps, right? You will click off laps really fast. They're doing about 19 seconds per lap around here. So I mean, before you know it, you blink, it's already lap 60. I'm seeing word Todd Lamphere mail went around. Oh no. I just said he needed to get rid of all the bad luck. No caution either. Oh, just walks it out sideways. A little bit of damage, but nothing too foul. What I'm worried about now for the 26 car is just going a lap down. You do not want to go a lap down, especially when there's this few trucks out here, just because you never know if that caution will actually fly or not. Oh no, the 5 of Fillmore going around too, right in front of traffic. I don't think anybody was able to really dodge that one. I think Wellman may got a piece of it. We saw that one live. See if we can go back and see what happens with the 5 truck. Just walks the dog sideways on the entry. Cars scattered. Everybody's trying to miss. Shout out to 99 of Hattenbach. He picked up what was happening here and was able to go high and mitigate any damage to the truck. Watch this. Heads up driving by the 99. I mean, it looks so simple, folks. I know it does at home. It's like, well, what do? He just slowed down and turn right. But I promise you, it's way more deeper than that. It's tough. As now, Anthony Rennick, he will be starting on the front row now. And we did see he was really fast right then. He was right there on the back bumper of the 80 truck. But now, he don't have the preferred starting spot in third. That's going to be Brandon Elvis. We're going to see if Elvis can capitalize starting P3 here. And Anthony Rennick, basically, if you're the guy starting second, outside row number 1, you basically got to just try to mitigate the damage, meaning you got to try to not lose as much spots as possible. So you will see people get aggressive trying to come down. They may chop somebody's nose, as we call it in the racing world, stuff like that. But you got to be careful with that. You're playing Russian roulette. All it takes is for that guy running third not to lift, not to let you in, and boom, you got a crash that can, it has the makings to be a big one just because you're in front of the pack. As we just will wait for the lights to go off on that beautiful Chevy Silverado. Actually looks identical to mine. Except I obviously don't have the wrap on it and everything. So me and Jason Raymond just have a joke up here because he's seen my truck. I used to always tell him looks exactly, or I used to always say a beautiful Chevy Silverado. But all right, going to re-rack them, restack them, try it again. Double file restart here. Christopher Smith with Anthony Rennick starting on his outside. Brandon Elvis. Brian Voss on row number 2. what's going to happen here? Will Rennick in the 21 be able to get the machine down? As Chris gets a great launch off, but so does Elvis. Elvis to the inside of the 21 already. I'm telling you, it happened so fast here, but 21 does have a little bit of room to come down right here in front of Daniel Sweat in 07. Looks like Rennick was able to come down. Oh, I thought Sweat may have started to fill that hole, but he elected not to. As a 55 truck, once again, on the outside, just getting hung out to dry. Everybody is, they see them spots, they can get on the inside lane. And now Rennick went back out to the inside, lost a spot. Now Daniel Sweat is in the 3rd place spot. But Heartbreak City for the 55 truck here started up front. Oh no, it looks like Hattenbach. We saw him with a great save earlier to avoid damage. And whoa, Ronald Judd coming in there almost gave him a slight kiss, but the heartbreak for these guys is no yellow for that. So they got to try to get those trucks right back up to speed to avoid going a lap down here. As leaders are already at the start finish line, so they are coming. But yeah, you wreck down like that onto the grass, you're not on the racing surface, you usually will not get a caution, and that's what we saw transpire right there. As Chris here's got a pretty good little lead over Brandon Elvis. And folks, I do want to remind you, this is my first night calling this league, so if I butcher somebody's name in here, I'm sorry for that. I'm just a dumb redneck that got educated enough to know how to run a computer, right? And that's it. So if I do pronounce your name wrong, I do apologize for that. As riding on the gearbox of our race leader, Chris Smith, right here in the number 80 truck. Looks like Brandon Elvis can roll the center a little bit better than Chris, as now we're riding on the nose piece of that Chevy Silverado 54. And you see he's able to drive it in a little deeper, rolls the center a little bit quicker, but it's kind of hurting him on exit. He's sacrificing exit a little bit for his entry. And you see he's got a train behind him. He knows these drivers are hungry right here behind him. But Brandon Elvis itching for his first win. We saw on the points graphic, he needs that first win. He is a driver that's plenty capable of doing it week in and week out. But then you add to that Myrtle Beach home track. I've seen this guy be bad fast here in our short track series on Crooked Line Racing, and we're seeing the same tale be told here. But remember, track position's king, and right now it's all the 80 truck out front. As we're going to take you through the field here. 80, Christopher Smith and Brandon Elvis, that's 1-2. Daniel Sweat started P4, had a relatively quiet night. Ain't had to say his name very much. He's sitting P3 with Anthony Rennick right there starting behind him in the 4th place spot. Our biggest mover thus far of the night is none other than the 114 of Mr. Justin Coleman. He is up 3 spots as he hit the starting grid, currently holding down P5. And then our biggest faller, I mean, Heartbreak City for the 55 so far, but luckily, yes, I did say the laps click off faster, but it's long enough race where he can battle back, and you know he's going to be bad fast. He started P2, so he's got good pace. Just got to make that inside line work, and he's falling back to P6 after starting P2. Samuel Lawson up 2 spots. He's in P7. And then Kyle Wellman also up 2 spots since he hit the grid. He is currently holding down P8. We got a hard charger Brandon Fillmore, who was, oh no! It is a curse. Now that may be a caution. He's in the race surface. Caution out on the speedway. Every time we put the camera on Brandon, he gets camera shy on us. No, no, no. The broadcaster curse. It is real. No way. I want to get cockpit cam of this. He's following Wellman. He's probably a little quicker than Wellman because he was running up in front of him until his last incident. But right here, folks, we'll go slow-mo with it. In the throttle, truck starts getting loose. You see, first thing we think to always do is jerk that wheel right because it's going to save the truck sometimes, but he overdid it. Just a little bit, not harm. I mean, just a little bit overcorrect, and boom, you see the outcome. Going to the outside wall. Trying to see. Didn't get damage from anybody else. Hard to tell. This Chevy Silverado still looking strong on the front end. So nothing's really hurt there, but maybe your pride don't want to go around like that. And I do see Ronald Judd's got some right side damage. That looks like a wall hit right there. As that is going to be something to watch. These trucks are very, very easy to destroy suspension components up on the front end. And although aero may not matter here, you can damage the front end of these trucks and not be bad in the aero department. But you don't want to start damaging where your front wheels are, because what does matter here is suspension components and how that truck turns. Now, we're seeing them very, very loose. Imagine something broken in the right front. That's just going to make that problem exemplified even worse. So, got to be careful to stay off these walls. And these walls are the type of walls, they feel like they're real, like a real person, because it's like they reach out and grab you when you're trying to put the power down. As this is the second yellow of the night, brought to us by All-Star Racing League. Thank them again for allowing us to come on board and call the action tonight. I'm doing my job, but now I need you to do your job. Let me know in the chat, who do we got tonight? As I see, come on Sam, just call him the governor. He is. Oh, Sam Lawson, he is the governor. The old governor. That's one of my buddies on here. I like messing with old Samuel. Alrighty, re-rack and restack, and we're gonna try it again. Double file, Chris and Brandon occupy row number 1. Daniel Sweat, Anthony Rennick occupy row number 2. The 07 is in the money spot we've saw all night long. Starting P3 here. As a good jump here for Brandon Elvis on the outside. That should allow the 54 car, or truck, excuse me, to maybe get down. No, he's going to race it for this lead. They're side by side for the race lead coming out of turn number 2. It gets tight right there, but you did see the 80 truck give plenty of room. But look at the 54 truck digging on the high side here. Really, really rotating the corner hard and fast on that outside lane. And advantage goes to Brandon Elvis. What a move by the 54 truck. That could possibly go down as the move of the race. Went on the outside lane, went up there and took it. What a drive by the 54 truck. Now, we're going to see if he can get a little bit of real estate in between him and second place driver of Chris Smith. And I got eyes on this Evil Knievel, Robbie Knievel type scheme. The Coleman Designs Martin Sports 07 truck of Daniel Sweat. I know he's bad fast on these short tracks. He's already got himself a race win this season. So you know the 07's bad fast, and he's always bad fast, but he's got a different gear when it comes to these short tracks like Myrtle Beach. Guys, he was somebody that was behind me last night on the super lates, and he was just hounding me. And he finally got past me, right? Because he's bad fast here. And you can't count out Coleman. Won the super late model race last night here at Myrtle Beach. He's currently sitting P4, up 4 spots since he hit the grid. So the 114 of Coleman, he's coming. Mama, here comes that bad man. And Brian, the 55 truck, it's been a roller coaster all night, but it's been nothing but downs, nothing but valleys. Now he's starting to bounce back. He is in P5 trying to work over Justin Smith, really applying a lot of pressure with that Ford F-150 here. As, got in there a little hot, had to back off of it a little bit. That's a good looking 55 truck, if I had to say so myself. As, see what's happening on back here with the governor. The governor may have a little bit of mishap on that last, yes, he did. It looked like the governor went around. See if we can, on the restart, just put the power down a little too much. Didn't get a whole lot of damage there, I do not believe. A little bit on the right front. As, oh no, I think another guy just went around there. Anthony Rennick around in the grass, trying to get that truck rolling. Man, it's tough to do in that grass once you get stopped. He does get it rolling, but let's go back and see what happened to Rennick. Another case of no yellow. Just walks it sideways out of turn number 4. It's going to be the story of the night. And now Rennick's just got a battle to not go a lap down. As he sees the leaders in his mirror. See if we can go on board with Brandon Elvis here. Riding on board with Brandon Elvis in the 54, our current race leader. And you can see Anthony Rennick out his windshield. A straightaway away right now. But now Rennick's had pretty good speed thus far, so it's going to be hard for Brandon Elvis to catch up with Anthony Rennick and make the pass, because Rennick has been fast. But oh no, now Daniel Sweat issued with Sweat, allowing Justin Coleman to get by. That sounded like a product of getting on the brakes too hard, or just kind of wheel hopped almost when he did get on the brakes. Because I heard them tires really starting to slide, really starting to work, and that allowed Coleman to get to the inside. And now Brian, he's working on the back of Sweat. Because all these drivers are fighting a really loose handling truck here. Like Elvis said, these trucks, they are meant for tracks like Kansas, Daytona, Talladega. These trucks are not necessarily made for tracks like Myrtle Beach, hence why they left these tracks. I wish they would come back to their grassroots, but sadly, NASCAR's chasing the money and not chasing the fan. Which I get it, they're a business. We head back up front. Man, that is leading the train around, but does have a hard charging Chris Smith, who led the first 35 laps of tonight's event. Does have Christopher Smith right there on his back bumper now. Brandon Elvis did have to come out through the field. He's up 4 spots. He started P5, so he had to make a few passes in these first 41 laps to get up here and wrestle the lead away on the high side. Is his tires going to start showing adverse effects of pushing hard like that? And now also got to remind you, their fuel window, if it went green flag, was about 60 to 65 laps. They did have 3 cautions, so that's going to be extended a little bit. But they're not far out their window here. They're probably about 30 laps out of a pit window. So pit road's going to start getting busy. If we have another yellow, I think pit road will be busy. That stop. As Brian still trying to work over the 07. 07 truck gets loose once again in front of him. So the 55 smells blood in the water. Drives it off in there deep. And 07 basically just said, here, brother, you can have it. I messed up. It's yours to have. Leaned over and let the 55 go by. And now the 07 is going to live to fight another day. As Coleman, last time around, was the fastest truck on the track. So the 114 doesn't have clean air, but has a little bit of clean air on that front nose. Sitting at about a second deficit to second place Chris Smith out front, or sitting P2. So does have a little bit of distance he's going to make up to get up there and battle it out and mix it up with our race leaders. I seeing Ty Lamphere ended up entering pit road. Not sure exactly why. I'm not seeing anything that stands out to me on SDK. That's a tough break for the 26 truck of Lamphere here. I'm gonna see if he's getting service or if is he parking it. I'm not. Missed his pit box too, so that adds insult to injury. No, was too far over left in his pit box, so he's gonna lose a lap here, maybe 2, folks. Heartbreak for the 26 truck here. It's like Brandon Elvis has stretched that lead out a little bit, almost half a second over the 80 truck of Chris. And Coleman, he's not really able to make up any of the distance. It's been right at about a 1.5 second gap to second place, and that's currently where it stands, about 1.5 seconds. See if we can pull up lap times last time around here. It will show you on the ticker. That way you can keep track and who's doing what on the track. There you see Coleman right there. It tells you the story. Almost 0.5 tenth off our leader's pace. But Brian Voss, fastest truck on the track last time around. So the 55 truck, he's coming. He just got to get the track position. Remember, back to point number 1 in the pre-race show. Track position is king. As like Todd Lamphere's back out on truck in the 26. So a little bit of an unscheduled stop for the 26. Not exactly sure why. Maybe I had to use a fast pair. I'm not sure. But still, nonetheless, an unscheduled pit stop that's really put him behind the 8 ball. Alrighty, folks, we're going to head on over to a crank it up of the night brought to you by BAM Racing Videos. If anything happens as far as a caution, we will jump back with the action. We're going to be here. We're going to crank it up loud. Headset users, please beware. It's going to get loud in just a moment. Crank it up, brought to you by BAM Racing Videos. Alrighty, folks, I said we would come back if something interesting happens. Chris Smith in P2 decided to relinquish that, and he's taking his truck down pit road. We're going to see if this is a four-tire call, if this is a fuel call. Lap 60, so they were coming up on the window here. Does he think this thing's going to go green? Is he trying to jump our race leader? As right side of the truck going up in the air here. Now, when he's pitting early like this, the one thing and only thing he can do now, there's only 2 tires for the 80 truck here. But the only thing the 80 can do now is just pray there isn't a caution. Because if there is, that's going to trap him 2 laps down, I do believe. As let's see if we can see on the ticker when it goes by. We'll pull this up really quick. That's telling me qualifying here. For whatever reason. It's just telling me Chris only lost 1 lap. I find it hard to believe, but if he did, heck yeah. So now, is that going to break the ice and start leading some more people down pit road? As it looks like Anthony Rennick finally did go a lap down to Brandon Elvis. And look at the lead Elvis has. 3.5 seconds over second place Brian. As Brian does have lap traffic to contend with as well. But my question is, who's going to break the ice once more and go down for tires and fuel here? Which guy in the top 3 will be the next drivers? Question answered. Brian Voss, Justin Coleman, Rob Hattenbach coming in. So this tells me right here, people are starting to get closer on fuel here. That's going to let Daniel Sweat be P2 here. But Brandon Elvis now, he's just got to try not to make the wrong call, because he's proved he has the pace to win tonight's event. 6 seconds out over second place right now, which is Daniel Sweat. Now, Lamphere, we saw him bring his truck down a little earlier. So I'm starting to see now, he was just trying to short pit these guys. But the one thing that's going to hurt Todd is the fact that he had to back up and pull forward again. He was too far left in his box when he tried to pit. All right, now Fillmore's coming down pit road. Welva's coming down pit road. The governor, Sam Lawson's coming down pit road. So a lot of takers coming down pit. And now also, this is a very tough pit road to exit and do it quickly at under green. As Jessica Coleman did come out in front of the leader right there. But still, I would imagine still going to be a lap down. As your final two that have elected, final three, excuse me, that have not pit. Ronald Judd, who's currently 10th place in the points. Daniel Sweat and Brandon Elvis. That's your top three, and they have not hit pit road yet. How much further can they go? Each lap that Brandon Elvis does, right, Sweat, he goes down. Ronald goes down. So now it's just all on Brandon Elvis. But each lap he takes around this track, he is basically letting the guys that did short pit him catch up a little bit more. Because they're turning quicker laps on fresh tires than what Brandon Elvis is able to set on his 70-lap old tires. So they are in the pit window. They can make it from here. It's just a matter of when you go in. Now, Brandon Elvis, he's looking for that caution to come out. As it looks like the 54 truck is going to get pulled down the pit road here. So now all drivers have elected to come down for service. Who is this going to give the... Oh, no! No, Brandon Elvis on pit road. Caution comes out. 21 truck of Rennick. I don't know what happens here. My goodness. Does Brandon Elvis, if he does not need to stop in his pits right here, I think. He's out of fuel. He has to stop in his pits. But is this going to trap? This will not trap people a lap down, okay? But Brandon Elvis, if he was able to keep rolling right there, he was going to leave a lot of people a lap down. But I think the 54 truck was out of fuel, as that really changes the whole parameters of this event. As that is crazy. Caution comes out right when leader comes down. 21 truck of Rennick. We hadn't even went back to see what happened here. We will. See if we can get it pulled up now. Oh, was this a product of coming off pit road? I just said how tough it is. Nope, he's off pit road. Goes in 3 and 4. And just kind of walks it out from underneath him a little bit. Ooh, just on the brakes. Low brake bias. Brought that truck around. Now, folks, these guys only have one set of tires laying. And we saw Christopher Smith only take right sides when he was on pit road. Looks like the 80 truck, he's going to come back and get those left sides now. And I like the call from the 80, but now track position is king. Remember that. He's lost a lot of track position with this call. As Brandon Elvis, Mr. Hometown Boy, was able to come back out in front. I do believe, actually I'm not sure. We'll wait for live scoring time and the update before we say that for certain. As Chris may have just kept himself trapped a lap down too, by the way. Not sure. I'm not sure who's going to be on the lead lap here, who isn't. It looks like race control's having some issues with it too. So let's throw it over to Southern Shores while they try to fix this. We'll be back momentarily.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you.
Alrighty, folks, we are back. As it looks like race control got it sorted out. As I'm still curious what driver's going to be a lap down. Because this has gotten crazy. And I pulled the side ticker up just to give us something that does not move that we can look at and see, because this is unprecedented right here. This is something that I haven't seen in a long time. It looks like also a single file restart here. As there, I do believe they're just going green to put the caution out. Once again, just basically reset iRacing here. Okay. So basically what they did there, folks, they let the field go green, and then, nope, we're going to halt it, go to yellow once again. And that basically resets iRacing, because the lineup was a little messed up, I do believe. And basically gives them a chance to, a do-over, we'll say. As I believe they let Christopher Smith get his lap back. As that's race changing as well, because he did pit when he was one of the wave around cars. That's going to allow Chris to be back on the lead lap now. So that 80 truck, he's going to be coming. It's a tough call for race control to make in that instance right there, because I've done it many times Monday and Tuesday nights. It's hard for us to know, even in a truck, what the lineup's supposed to be. We can never fully know what it's supposed to be, right? And that's when we start calling on people's integrity to go back in their spot. But sometimes they don't even know. But it don't matter. That's behind us now. We're about to go green flag racing once again here. Myrtle Beach Speedway. As green is out. And Brandon Elvis got a great launch. So did Justin Coleman, though. But Brian Voss, he's been on that outside lane. He started the race there. He is back there, battling with Justin Coleman, door to door here. We did see the outside line work once tonight with Brandon Elvis. See if Brian can put it to get used to. It looks like the guy on the outside can get a great run off. So those keys to victory we had earlier, throw them out, I do believe, because a 55 truck, he's hanging right there with the 114. And all the little contact, they make a little bit of, oh, who's going to put it ahead? Caution down the speedway. Daniel Sweat running around. As those two right there were getting ready to go around, because they were racing hard wheel to wheel. Let's see what happened to Sweat here on the inside of Fillmore in the number 5 truck. Goes in there a little shallow. Did he get a little help there? It's hard to see from that angle, folks. I do apologize for this track not having. He did get a little help from Fillmore. So the 5 truck just kind of rode in there a little bit and tapped the back of the 07. And with how much these trucks are on edge, I mean, that's all it takes, a little tap like that, and boom goes the dynamite. As we're back under yellow for the 4th time tonight. It's been a really good race, so these guys have done a hell of a job out here with these trucks, with how loose they are. They've done a hell of a job racing door to door, wheel to wheel. Put on one heck of a race so far. And I mean, shout out to the hometown boy, Brandon Elvis, 54 truck. Got up there, took the lead the hard way on the outside, and has not looked back since then. Thought the pit call was going to mess him up a little bit. I'll be honest. When he stayed out a lot longer than everybody else, I was starting to worry for the 54 truck. I thought he was going to allow them other guys to undercut him so much. Because, I mean, face it, they're going to be faster on fresh tires. Luckily for Elvis, he caught that caution, but didn't catch it in a timely fashion because he was on pit road. Brandon slow behind. Sorry, I was reading the chat. So, but Brandon was on pit road. So, it could have been bad for him. But ultimately, it worked out for him. 54 trucks out front. Justin Coleman, though, last night's super late model winner here at Myrtle Beach. He's going to be knocking on the outside door of the 54. And then the 55 truck, Mr. Bryan, he started on the outside. Heck, I think every restart I've seen thus far. But now, he's on the inside. See what he can do with that preferred starting position, P3. Does he have something for Elvis? And I got to also keep an eye on Chris back here. Chris led the first 40-something laps. Brandon Elvis did get up and pass him on the outside, but they're teammates from Bad Company Racing, right? So they're not going to race each other really hard. I think Chris kind of gave it to him. I mean, maybe not either. I mean, I don't know how they race either. They may race tough and hard. But it was a battle. I do know that. They battled for 3 or 4 laps, and Brandon finally was able to make the move. Make it stick on the outside. All right, re-rack them, restack them. We're going to try it again. Your front row consists of Brandon Elvis, Justin Coleman, Brian Voss, and Hottenbach is row number 2. 99 truck's been fast tonight too, and we've seen him in a few instances that he couldn't avoid. But now track position is king. Remember the keys to the victory tonight. He's got the track position starting P4. As field's in the hands of the 54 truck. Going to fire him off, get a great launch off, but the 55 truck in P3 did not. I tell you who did though, Mr. Justin Coleman. Mama, here comes that bad man, the 114. He was able to get down. He's holding down P2 now, up 6 spots since he hit the start of tonight's event. Started P8. He's just fast here. Your top 2, they were the class of the field last night for the super late models. And look how they run tonight. 1-2, Brandon Elvis, Coleman. Which driver will prevail here? Coleman got him last night. Can Elvis fire back? Or is Coleman going to go back-to-back at Myrtle? As the laps are going to click off fast now. It is go time. We're getting within that 30-lap range. It is beginning to be go time. See, it looks like the top 7, top 6 have kind of got a little breakaway. Top 5, really. And then you got Kyle Wellman right here riding on a pocket by himself. And then you got just a slew of cars back here. Daniel Sweat has actually scored in the 7th place spot. These are some lap cars in front of him. So Sweat trying to climb back. Just got turned by Fillmore the time before this. I don't want to say it like that, but Fillmore got into the back of him, sent him around. And now the 07's trying to battle back, but that's what you got to do on these short tracks. You got to fight through adversity. That's what we're seeing old Evil Knievel here do in the 07 machine. We go back up front, though. Look at the pressure Coleman's providing for the 54 truck. He's looking everywhere but that mirror right now. The second you start watching that mirror is the second you give your opponent the upper hand, because you're going to make a mistake, not even meaning to. Right now, you need mistake-free driving. That's what the 54 truck's done all night long. Can he continue it? See if we can jump on board with old Brandon, and we'll compare between him and Justin how the cockpits look. I think he's getting off really smooth, not really having to counter steer any. It's putting a little bit of will into it though to get that truck to turn. As darn, caution down the speedway. It may have been the 21 of Rennick. I don't know for certain, so don't quote me on that. But I am getting reports he went off the track. Oh, he looks loose there. Right in front of Sweat. Let's see what happens here. Got Todd Lettenfield right there in front of him. Rennick, just gets a little loose. Heads up driving by the 07. That is Rennick's second caution of the night. So another 21 truck. I said it earlier. The 21 and the 26. I was hoping they had good runs here tonight. They needed it. And sadly, I think I may have given them the curse. As we have Mr. Creech in the chat. Oh yeah, Mr. All Time Gaming. I see that now. Oh, Dalton Creech. How you doing tonight, buddy? Got himself a pedicure today too, so hey, give him a round of applause for that. Didn't get to mention it because he was racing, but I told him I had to mention it. Guys, I won't use the picture though. I'll let the picture you sent the Discord chat, I'll let it just stay out there. I'm not gonna post it for him. I don't want to get age restricted from content like that. $30 laps to go when they cross the line next time by. Just took lap number 95. Lights are still on the pace truck. As man, I tell you, it's sad we're going to end up losing. We not even that we're going to lose. We've lost this facility basically. I know it's still standing. It's standing but not operational. I think there's dirt over it. Heard reports. Now these are just hearsay reports, stuff I read online, that it was supposed to get turned into a shopping center, a real estate development, something along that sort. So sucks to see that all the short tracks around the country are just they're a dying breed, right? But that's what's cool about iRacing. It preserves the history here. So Myrtle Beach, it may not run and may not last anymore in real life, but the history goes on iRacing, and that's cool to be a part of that, right? This is such a tough track. It was a very unique track to watch races at, as I've seen some on YouTube. Sadly, never got a chance to visit a race here live, but this is if you like short track racing, this was a bucket list track for a lot of people. A lot of big names came through these gates here. As Dalton just told us, track has been torn down, so I didn't know that. Dang, man. I was hoping maybe it was still standing, but just not operational. That sucks to hear, because this was, like I said, it was a bucket list track. A lot of names were made inside these hollow grounds. As double foul, Elvis Coleman at your front row. We seen Elvis make the outside lane work earlier. Can Coleman do the same? Coleman just needs to have a restart like he had a while ago, and he does not. Look like the 55 truck's going to fill that hole and fill it quickly. Saw what happened last time. Did not want to allow it to happen this time. But now Coleman, he has to fight. You got to fight when you're on the outside here. You cannot afford to start losing spots, because you lose one, you lose many here. You see the 99 truck trying to make itself down, and look at Coleman with the drive off on the high side. Got himself back down to P2. Now Brandon Elvis, he loves seeing those two trucks go door to door, battling it out. They're slower naturally when they get side by side like that. So now they allowed Elvis to get out a little bit. Has about a half a second lead over second place Coleman. Can he manage that? As we're 26 laps to go, 25 at the stripe. Next time by, folks. As where'd this man come from? Hottenbach. He is on the move. As oh no! Looks like Christopher Smith getting turned right there behind him. Kyle Wellman may be the cause of it. I'm not 100% certain on that. Just what it looked like right there. And I call it like I see it, and we'll see. That's a tough angle to see it at. We gotta see if we can find something a little better. We'll wind it back a little bit here. Like Wellman just go slow-mo. You see the flames coming out, so they're both off the gas. They're out of the throttle there. But I think Wellman just got off the brakes before Chris didn't. So watch the flame come out here. Well, I mean, that can mean they're picking up throttle. They're getting off throttle there, and just kisses Chris on the right rear. Sends that truck around. Luckily, no more damage for the 80, but man, oh man, it stinks, because he was running so good. Led the first 45 laps. For some reason, had to pit, or went down pit road and lost all his track position. And ever since then, it's been nothing but valleys for him. No peaks. So with right at 20 laps to go, going to see if he can end this race on a high. But man, oh man, he is behind the 8 ball. Started on the pole, currently sitting P10. He actually came into tonight's event tied for P4 with Brandon Elvis. This will be a big swing for Brandon Elvis here if he can not only maximize his points by finishing P1, but also maximize his points over his competitors, with Chris Smith currently slotted in 10th place spot. And shout out to the governor. Had a very quiet night. I ain't had to say his name at all tonight. He's struggled a little bit at times, just because I talked to him during practice. I heard him saying that. But he is battling back. He's fighting back. He has not given up. Currently up to P6, up 3 spots since he has a starting grid. But this 99 truck, I don't know where he came from. I don't care where he came from. He is bad fast. He was really working on the 55 truck, trying to put the power down on the low side. And that caution came at an untimely time for him. So now he's got to basically forget all that. He's going to be starting on the outside once again. And he's just got to try to go to work, we're going to call it. It's going to be taking the green flag with 20 laps to go. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, folks. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Helps us out a ton as we're on the road to 500 to become a YouTube content creator. But now it is go time. Going to be 20 laps to go, and they cross stripe. Fields in the hands of the number 54 truck of Brandon Elvis. As I said, it was go time earlier. If it wasn't go time then, you best believe it's go time now. 20 to go here at Myrtle Beach. As Coleman does not get a great launch at all. Had a little bit of trouble getting up through the gears. That's going to allow the 55 truck to pounce. He smells blood in the water. He is to the inside of the 114. Deja vu from earlier, but Coleman was able to put the power down coming out of turn before. Will he be able to do it again here? Advantage to Coleman at the line, and he does do it, but the 55, he stays right there with him. Tick for tack right here. As it's going to be closer cautions on the speedway. Do cautions breed cautions, folks? Especially late in these events. He's telling me Wellman went around the 11 truck. Let's see what happened. Oh no, I kind of see what may happen here. Oh no, Wellman, never mind. Wellman didn't wreck. Anthony Rennick. Never mind. I apologize, Rennick. Oh, whoa, no. Wellman just said, hold my beer. I'm going to try to drift it myself, and goes around. Yep. Got in there a little hot, and boom, went to dynamite. Tough break for the 11 truck. I do want to touch on something here. Yes, that says my last name, and yes, that's my name on the door. I let him borrow that truck tonight, and man, oh man, he's not doing it justice. Justin Coleman painted a beautiful truck, and Wellman's out here self-spinning in it. What's wrong with him? All right, Dalton, who we got in the chat? You race for these guys week in and week out. Who's your pick tonight? It's hard to pick against Brandon Elvis. Very, very hard to pick against Brandon Elvis. Or anybody that's watching in chat. Who do we have tonight? Who's your pick? It's down to the nitty gritty. This is when the checks get cashed here. Going to be 15 laps to go next time by. He said Brandon Elvis or Mr. Voss, Brian Voss. I feel like I'm butchering his name, but I do apologize for that, like I said earlier. So he's got the 54 or the 55. You know what? I'm going to take the man in the middle. I'm taking Mr. Myrtle Beach from last night in the Super Late Models. I'm taking Justin Coleman to capitalize on this right here. I don't know what he's going to capitalize on, but it's going to be something. But he's outside looking in, starting on P2. He has maintained the track position the last few restarts, but I promise you, every restart it's getting tougher and tougher as we're getting later into the race. That guy in third place, he's pushing harder and harder and harder. So now, I mean, this is the point here where the brakes quit getting cut. You quit cutting any type of slack to anybody. You start worrying about what's best out your windshield, and you quit worrying about what's best for other drivers. And that's why we've seen cautions breed cautions here as of late, right? Although that last caution was a self-spin by none other than the Wild Man. All right, lights are off on the pace truck. 13 laps to go, and they take the green flag here. Fields once again in the hands of the 54 truck. As oh no, electrical issues. As he is back. I got nervous there because he said earlier, every time he's ever ran good here, something always happens. As Justin Coleman once again sleeping coming up through the gears. He's lost one spot, maybe two spots. It's the 99 truck sending it up in there. Now the 114, he is trying to battle back. He's going to fight the 99 truck. But now Voss, he has the leader set in his eyes right here in front of him. He is matching the tire tracks. Hell, last time by, that time around, first time around the track, he matched the lap time. They were 100th off in terms of lap time last time by. 55 truck, he's coming. And let's jump on board with him, see how he's attacking this little bull ring of a track. As Elvis, a little bit of shallow entry there. You may see a little bit of defensive line. Oh no, Voss gets loose. That's going to allow Elvis to get a little bit of distance between him and second and third place, because now Coleman, he smelled blood in the water. He's going to pounce onto the 55 truck. One mistake here, folks, that's all it takes, and these guys are going to try to fight. They're going to fight for everything they can as a caution back out on the speedway, as this was about to get super interesting. Let's see. It may have been Kyle Wellman again. He's definitely loose right there. If it's Wellman again, I'm going to bring him up and start making fun of him now at this point. Just because he's my buddy, but he's also in my paint scheme. Oh my goodness, where's he at? Let's see if he's still in here. There he is. See if we can bring him up. Mr. Kyle Wellman, you're live in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
There has never been a time one of my paint schemes has ever looked so ugly. What is going on?
Oh,
bro?
that's debatable. I can count a few races.
Man, oh man, what is going on? Talk to me.
You got them tires, and about a few laps after we got tires, me and Christopher Smith kind of made some contact in one of the turns, and it hurt the right front. And ever since then, it's junk. Came in last caution to check the tires, and my right front is down to 67%.
Good grief.
Yeah, so I've got that right front damage. It's just making the tires terrible.
Well, I had to bring you up here to bust on you a little bit. Thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So what are we doing now from here on out? You're sitting P12. You're going to try to get as much points as you can, or you're just going to try to finish this thing?
Both. I don't know. I'm going easy on it and still looping the car. There's just no grip on the right side, so hoping maybe some cars pile up.
Well, right on, brother. Well, good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you.
I actually saw Dalton Creech up in the broadcast booth with me there for a second. See if he comes back. He did.
Yeah,
there he is. What is going on, Dalton?
I was hanging in there, buddies, enjoying a week of vacation.
I hear that, man. And like I said, I don't even know what the word vacation even means anymore, but getting ready to go back green flag racing here, and both your picks sit in front row.
Yeah, I think Brian and Brandon are for sure some Myrtle Beach guys, man. They both have won races at Myrtle Beach, and they do really well.
As this time, Justin Coleman, he learned from last time. He decided he needed to get up through the gears there. He does get a great launch. Elvis, though, I mean, him controlling these restarts, though, the world's in his hands, but it's also in Coleman's hand. Will he use the bumper? They're friendly. Probably not, but you never know, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. There are a couple of BCR guys. There's some bad company racing guys. They'll race each other hard, but they'll definitely be clean. But I'm actually watching the stream, so I'm a little bit behind. But, overall, these guys are definitely going to run each other clean, especially the 99 car looking. He was up there, the 07, Daniel Sweat. All these guys race with each other all the time. I think they'll do well,
Right.
Right at the end.
Right, as we just clicked off 3 laps ago. I'm sharing my screen in Discord, but I noticed right there, Sweat was trying to make a move over Brian. That actually hurt the 55 a little bit. There's another yellows out on the speedway. I think I jinxed this man earlier. Anthony Rennick has went around for the 3rd time tonight. I definitely gave him the curse that I didn't even want to give. Let's see what happened to the 21 truck here. we've saw this all night from multiple different guys, Dalton. They just get on throttle a little bit on exit. It's usually been off turn 4, but turn 2's had its own few gremlins out there. And Anthony just the weight it sets over and around she goes.
Yeah, I've seen a couple guys spin tonight. Just overdriving the corner. The setup that we got for Premier Racing setups is a fantastic setup. I was able to run that a little bit last week when we first got the setup, and it's definitely a very, very loose setup to run.
Well, let's
but
be
a lot
honest
of fun.
So setup shops, they sell setups that are fast, meant to win, right? What's the old adage saying? Loose is fast. So you got to drive these setups.
You're absolutely right.
They're not going to drive themselves, but they're fast. They have speed in them. You got to drive the dang thing though. But we're saying it is loose, right? But that's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's going to be loose.
It's definitely a loose setup. Definitely a loose setup. You get out there. When I first put the setup on, I was thinking, go up there, run a couple laps, and try to set a fast lap time. But you really have to get your tires warm, get your tires a little scuffed up to be fast. You're not really running your fastest lap on lap 1 or 2. You're really running it on lap 10 or 15 because you're getting some heat in those tires. But that's why you're seeing a lot of these guys spin off the corner. Is they're wanting to get the throttle as quick as they can. And this setup is not meant for that. It's just meant to be smooth and easy on throttle. But yeah, that's pretty much why you're seeing a lot of these issues.
I mean, as a fellow driver myself, I know we all have that racehorse mentality, right? We all got to go, and I mean, it comes back and bites us at time, right? And right then, Anthony Rennick was a product of that.
Yep, absolutely, and that's definitely something that you've seen it a couple times with Wellman. Tonight I saw he was running your paint scheme. I heard you mention that a couple times.
Yeah.
It's all about getting out of that. You want to come off the corner straight, especially here, even in cars like the late model stocks.
Sorry to interrupt you. Coleman just gets tagged there, and that's the big one of the night, folks. You're seeing 7-8 trucks involved in that one. As I don't, some.
Let's go next time. The big one of the night, folks. You're seeing 7.
Ooh, got an echo coming through there. I heard myself.
Yeah. I had to. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm on my console. I'm actually on my Xbox, so it's hard to I can't watch it. I can't watch your stream on Discord, so I have to follow through on YouTube.
I got you. Man, oh man.
So I turned my phone on and forgot to turn the volume down.
I gotta see what happened here. This is a weird one. It's hard to really tell. Coleman gets 99. Hattenbach just gets in there a little deep. Gets into the back of the 114 of Coleman. Man, that's tough for both drivers because both drivers losing a ton of spots there. They went from top 5 to 12, 11.
And Coleman's going to be able to get back in his spot wherever, unless he's pitting here, which I know he'll definitely have damage. But, we do it very similar to the way Crooked Line does it. Is if you're the cause of a caution, we give you an EOL, you go to the back.
Right.
So Rob there will definitely get an EOL. And depending on where the caution was flown, Justin may not be in the back.
Right,
if it happens.
Spots.
Yeah,
he's about to pass a few cars right here. He's on the outside.
He's kind of hanging, from what I can see, he's kind of hanging on the outside of that 14 car of Ronald Judd.
Yeah. See if he's gonna make something. I don't know, man. He's staying put right now. I hope he gets a few spots back, right? Hopefully the caution came out quick enough for him to where he don't lose it all, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it would definitely. I mean, with 3 laps left, it's gonna be hard to get back up there, anyways.
You can't do much.
At this point, salvage a finish.
Right.
And real quick, I want to give a shout out to my boy, Ronald Judd. Ronald Judd. We all call him RJ. Or old man or whatever. That man's 70 years old running iRacing with us.
That is insane, man. So
yeah,
that's insane. So 70 years old out here running with the boys and running pretty good too, by the way.
Yeah, me and Brandon have raced with RJ for, gosh, probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years on console on NASCAR Heat 5. And me and Brandon made the switch over to iRacing about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And about 6 months ago, we were finally able to convince Ron to get a PC and get on iRacing. And he said this is the most fun he's had racing online with people ever.
That is awesome. I love hearing
So-
that, man. As white flag in the air for Mr. Brandon Elvis. He had a single file restart there. Man, oh man, he's checked out since then. Does have Brian in closing distance of him, but not going to be able to get there, I don't think. 54 truck out of turn number 4 for the final time tonight. He says he runs good here, but can never finish good here. Oh, that right there was put to the test, and that was a lot, looks like, because 54 truck just brought it home in victory lane. Brian brought it home P2, and Chris Smith ended up fighting his way back up there and got himself a P3 finish after leading the first 45 laps. So, hell of a night for him to bounce back like that, but hell of a night for our race winner, Mr. Brandon Elvis.
Yeah, congratulations to Brandon. Like I was saying, I had mentioned in the chat earlier, him and that 55 car, Brian Voss, these guys have both won races here actually, in real life at Myrtle Beach.
Right.
So I had no doubt that they'd definitely be fast here. You see Brian come whipping out of the pits there. I'm a little, like I said, a little bit,
Right.
little bit behind you.
He didn't slow down at all when he went down pit road. He just kept digging.
Yeah, but I mean, if I had to pick any driver, it would have been one of those two. They're just so experienced here, and you can tell, And I know last night in y'all's super race, Brandon was having a good run, and had some stuff happen where he got stuff to the back. Yeah. But I mean, they're just good drivers, fast drivers.
Got out to him in 54, burning it down. Know he's happy. We're gonna see if we can find Mr. Third Place here, Chris Smith. I know he's gonna be sitting in bad company. I do believe. Yeah, we got him right here. It's hard for me to get used to the new Discord, right, in here, because I know where all the channels are in the cricket line, obviously,
Yeah.
right? So I tried to move Wellman back earlier, put him in the wrong chat. So it's been a night for sure. Let's see if we can get Chris up here though. Mr. Chris Smith, you're live in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So, man, I mean, a lot of people had roller coaster nights, but I think you for certain did. Qualified on the pole, led the first 45 laps, and then got off sequence a little bit. Talk us through the pit call there and getting off sequence, because I was a little confused in the booth, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, those. You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, those first 40 I felt pretty good, and then that restart, I let Elvis go around me, and I was just going to try to ride. And I don't know if I had my brake bias all jacked up, and I started messing with it, and that got really, really loose, and I was just going to try to make a green flag stop, and I'll take home third, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, when I watched you go down pit road and pit, you were one of the first ones to pit. I got nervous because I was like, man, what if a caution flies? And then luckily, I mean, it did fly, but it fell once. Brandon, who was the leader at that time, finally went down pit road. I was actually saying I figured you were going to undercut him pretty good, and you may come out with the lead there. Is that what you were trying to do when you elected to pit early like that?
Yeah, I don't think if that caution wouldn't have came out, I might have had the lead, but I probably would have been on older tires. So I don't know how that would have worked out.
So the way the prediction track map works for me over here, it had you out like a straightaway on him, but then you got to see like tires, right? Your tires gonna be a little bit older than what his was gonna be right there, but it's still a hell of a race, right? Hell of a night, P3. Chris, I'm excited to be over, excited to call the action. You put it on the pole, like I said, and brought it home third. Who we got to think for the 80 truck here tonight?
Bad Company Racing, Coleman Designs, everything y'all do. Thanks for broadcasting it.
Alrighty, buddy. Thank you. And shout out Coleman Designs, too. Throws together, I know a lot of the trucks of this series. Hell, maybe all of them. I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, first time calling the action.
Yeah, he does a lot.
He does a lot.
He does a lot of them.
He does a lot. He freaking pumps them out. Let's see if we can get up Brian. I got an interesting question for Brian here because I heard a little tidbit about him before we actually went live here. Mr. Brian, you're live in the booth. You got a copy? And I saw his mic light up, but did not hear him. Mr. Brian, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you. Got me?
Yep, I got you now, loud and clear. Well, Brian, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your P2 finish there. You started P2, but man, oh man, you could not restart on the inside lane ever. So you was always having to fight on the outside lane. But to skip tonight's race, I want to go back, and I heard that you have turned many laps here in real life. What all have you ran around Myrtle Beach in real life here?
Oh, well, my granddad always owned a car here as long as I can remember. And then he gave me an opportunity, I guess it was 2010 or 11 in late model stock. And then I ran late models from then and up until when they closed in 2020. We had some success. The 1 year, that was probably our glory year. National champion Lee Pulliam stole a lot from us. But outside of that, I also worked at the Speedway when Bob Lutz owned under the NASCAR racing experience. So we gave ride-alongs and whatnot to just your average Joe. So, yeah, definitely a couple laps turning around the joint.
That's awesome to hear. Now, I got to ask the question next. How does it translate what you've learned in real life? Does that translate to sim like they say it does?
It's pretty close. A lot of the characteristics are still there. The turtles weren't quite as bad.
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad to hear that. Jeez.
Yeah, some of the skid plate cars that we did through our thrill show shaved some of them off, so it made it kind of smooth transition so you can actually use that apron with the grip to keep the thing to turn if you can get your car to turn down there in the center. But I mean, it's very close. I was actually joking with the winner Brandon there earlier. Pit road gets me because I don't think I've ever left Myrtle Beach Speedway pit road or entered Myrtle Beach Speedway pit road at 35, so that's always gets me every race.
Right. That's awesome to hear. And it's awesome to hear that it does translate over fairly close, right? That's what we always hear about the sim. It's not a game, it's a sim, so that's good to hear that. I've always wondered. Well, Brian, you put on one heck of a show fighting on the outside lane all night long. You finally got back up there, got the track position that you earned during qualifying. Finished P2. Who we got to thank for your performance here tonight?
I just saw these guys that put this deal on. Dalton, who couldn't race with us tonight, Brandon, and a great group of guys that we raced with in the All-Star Racing League here. Barry Elvis, Performance for sponsoring the whole deal. Yeah, not the result we want. P2's not bad. I used up a little bit too much tire there on the start of that run. Gave up too much track position on the initial run trying to save. Would like to see it play out without cautions, but hey, that's how it goes. I just want to congratulate Brandon on a win.
Right on, brother. We'll get you back up to your racing. Let's celebrate. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I like hearing that there, Dalton, that he was not satisfied with the P2, and that goes back to that racehorse mentality right there. None of us are ever happy being P2.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a super competitive guy. You know, he cool. So to give you a little background, he was talking about worked at the track too. He actually currently is the general manager for Florence Motor Speedway, in Florence, South Carolina,
right.
And does all their race control and all that. So he lives and breathes race cars, man.
That's awesome to hear that too, because I mean, I love the car series, right? I'm a short track guy. I love short track, so I follow the car series, and I know they frequent down in Florence, right? So that's awesome to hear that he has his ear still really close to the ground when it comes to short track racing.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
But now it is time for the man of the hour. Sadly, Mr. Brandon Evans, I'm just playing. Brandon, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So you said earlier you never, ever can get to finish here. You run good, something happens. Last night you were freaking the fast guy out there, something happened. Tonight, though, you put it all together. You got up there and took the lead the hard way on the outside versus old Chris Smith in the 80. Talk me through your night, brother.
Yeah, man, that I was pretty much riding these first few laps, just trying to save my tires and make sure I had it pointed straight off the corner before I got any gas. My dad actually texted me a few laps into it and reminded me to do that. But I just trying to keep the right rear underneath me, not plow getting in the corner, and roll to center real well and just get good drive off. And it seemed to work out. The passing Chris there, I figured that was as good a time of any if I was going to try to make a move. I know you can, first couple of laps here on the outside, you can really roll the top really well, especially if you kind of take the line away from the guy going into one. And I knew with the way these trucks are, you got to be real ginger on the brakes getting into one. So it's a little more forgiving on the top side, and that's how I was able to make that pass.
We saw a lot of that tonight, too, talking about being ginger on the brakes. Guys get in a little hot, getting the brakes a little too much, and, I mean, around she goes, right? So we jumped on board with you earlier, and you were one of the only guys that was not having to put a whole lot of countersteer into it. You were driving pretty straight off the corners. I take it that's stuff you've learned here from many, many laps. Now, have you raced here in real life too? I think I heard that.
Yeah, I raced here for several years on and off. Never really put together a full season, but I've got a lot of laps here. I got a lot of working on race cars here, and I was cutting laps around this place when I wasn't cutting laps around here, if that makes any sense.
Right. I get it. No, I get it. I followed my dad around for a long time. I get that. I get it. And I feel that, man. That's awesome to hear that. And it's awesome to hear that you put it together tonight for the hometown victory. I know how good that feels. So congratulations on that, brother. Besides your dad, who reminded you how to drive the place, I guess, there. Because
oh yeah, I know he's tuned in.
Shout out to my dad because he did that when we were driving fairgrounds. He was blowing my phone up when we were racing one night. So that's hilarious. Who we got to thank tonight, brother?
Definitely. First off, Dalton and Rob and the guys that put this all-star racing league together. It's really fun. We got a really good core group of guys here, and every time we race, I leave with a smile on my face, so that's always fun. Bad Company Racing, our group of guys were super fun to race with. We travel every series together. It's so fun. Coleman Design, he has me some really, really sharp-looking race cars all the time, and I get on his nerves about it too, but he spits them out, and he does it with a smile on his face. And Barry Ellis Performance Fabrication on the hood. Mr. All Time Gaming, he always streams every race. Luckily, we had you come on board and broadcast it for us tonight. We're really grateful for that. Yeah, that's about it, man. It's had a good time. Glad we could finally get one done.
I'll be honest, Brandon. I had fun doing this tonight. Going into it, I was a little worried. I was like, man, Myrtle Beach and the trucks, but this was actually a really good show. I don't know if it was I think it's a product of everything. I think it's a product of the drivers, your setup, having to really work for it, and the league, all that. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm looking forward to Nashville next week. I really am.
Yeah, man. Shout out Premier Racing Setups for giving us some good setups for these trucks. We didn't really know how it was going to go. These trucks aren't made for short tracks, like I said earlier in a pre-race, and those guys have put together some good setups for here in Nashville that I know of. It's coming up next week.
Right, and I'm excited. Slated to be a driver for that one, so going to take my paint scheme away from Wellman and show him how to actually do it. But Elvis, congratulations tonight, buddy. Got that race win. We'll let you get back down to your race team.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Brandon, congratulations. Congratulations on your win, Brandon, man. I'm glad you finally got a Myrtle Beach win in a league race.
I know, man. It's been a long time coming. I really appreciate it.
It's been a long time. I enjoyed watching it, man.
We needed the 7 truck out here, man. I knew I should have invited him today, Brandon. Good luck, boy. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks,
we'll talk to you
Thanks for what you do.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
Yep. As a little inside joke before we cut it off right then, but I'm happy to see him get that Myrtle Beach win. I know he wanted it, and he reached out there and grabbed it. It wasn't given to him. He took it tonight.
Yeah, he definitely did. He's always fast here. He just gets caught up in some crap sometimes, but yeah, he did fantastic. Real quick before we head off, you mind if I say something?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, thank you to start out, Tanner, for doing this for us, man. With me being gone this week and somebody stepping in and doing a fantastic job, I don't even put on this quality of stuff. Because I'm racing, I'm doing my point of view the entire time, and just kind of giving updates. But I appreciate you overall for stepping in this week and doing that. Also, like Brandon said, Premier Racing Setups, they do a fantastic job. They've done a fantastic job the last 3 races we've done with providing us with good setups. Also, Coleman Design, again, Barry Elvis, and everyone else who helps put this on. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and y'all are awesome.
Right above it. And I appreciate the kind words. I had fun tonight, man. I really did. I hate that I didn't get to switch over all the ticker stuff to All-Star, but I legit got home and started throwing stuff together, and honest to God, forgot about it until I got on here, and I was like, oh, man, I ain't got the ticker together. So I do apologize for that. If we ever come back for part 2, we'll have that fixed for sure. But I
Oh
did
yeah, for sure.
had a good time tonight, and was I'm looking forward to Nashville, man. Whether that's racing or whatever that is, I don't care. You know, like I'm good for whatever. But I can tell these boys they race really, really, really hard with each other. But it's really, really clean. I think we had 4 or 5 cautions until the late race shenanigans. So it's going to happen no matter where you go, right? Everybody's trying to fight for those positions. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys overdriving cars and all that.
Right. So overall, I'm impressed. I'm pretty cool deal y'all got going on over here. So shout out to y'all for that, because I know how hard and how thankless of a job it is to provide these type of leagues for people, right? It's not easy. It's not hard, but it's just not easy, right? It's just time consuming. So shout out to you boys for that.
Takes a lot of time, and also anybody watching, if you guys are interested in running this with us, just hit me up, hit Tanner up. We'll get you involved, and then come in. We have 3 more weeks of the truck summer series, and then we're kicking off a 16-week late model stock series, going back racing in the late model stocks. The Brandon Elvis Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrications late model stock series will be coming. This is the first year that we're actually going to be sponsored, and we're going to be fully broadcasted this year. Payouts. We're going to have payouts for each race. First, second, and third is going to make a little money, plus a hard charger. So 4 people per race going to be able to make a little bit of money.
Right. I mean, that's a good night of sim racing right there, buddy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can make your money back very quick. $30 for the season, but and of course the reason it's so high is because we're doing payouts. But it's super easy to make your money back. But if you're interested in that, hit us up, and we'd love for you to come on.
Right on, buddy. Well, folks, we are going to close up shop here tonight for the Premier Setup Shop Super Truck Series, brought to you by All-Star Racing League. Thank them for letting me call the action tonight, and hope y'all enjoyed it. And until next time, we'll see you.